think we're gonna need the whole meme army for this one. So come on out, angry Kelly Clarkson.
What is country music? What's the sound we like again?
Where you at, sad face Casey Musgraves?
East Texas girls gotta stick together.
Alan Jackson, you can start walking off the stage. Luke Bryan, you weren't invited, but it's fine if you're over there twerking.
I'm killing and I be that way.
Creepy Garth, you can do your thing.
I like that.
And Tyler Childers, we actually don't need you, but we'll throw in a... Well, guys, I don't know if you've heard, but we are now in a new era of country music. We're in the era of the country boy band. And I'm not talking about Rascal Flatts, and I'm not talking about Emerson Drive, and I'm not even talking about the Backstreet Boys collaborating with Florida Georgia Line, or AJ McClain saying that he was going to have a solo career.
I am coming in, but I'm coming in to disrupt country. I want to come in and shake things up.
No, I'm talking about brand new, real boy bands that are being assembled and marketed to country music. They are here, they are freshly coiffed, they are probably wandering in a field or in the forest or on a beach. But wherever they are, they're somewhere in nature, standing in a line and singing either in unison or in harmony, depending on their mood at the moment. Now, I first caught wind of this trend last year when I got a press release for a new act called Calaway, which was a group comprised of 6 members from America and the UK that was supposed to be offering a fresh take on country music.
Sometimes I think this world's too much.
This group confused me because it came out of nowhere and suddenly was debuting on the Grand Ole Opry, had big glossy articles written up in Billboard about country's newest boy band. They even got to premiere their first music video on People, one of the biggest websites on the whole internet, and I was like, how is this happening? How is this random country act getting this big of a push? And then I realized, oh... they're connected to Robert Dayton, who is the executive producer of the CMAs, a very powerful figure in Nashville. His son is actually in the band, and it seems like, wow, they've got some connections and some hookups to be extremely exposed very quickly. They had the skinny jeans, they had the fancy boy band photo shoot out in the middle of a desert. They had John Loba, who was the head of their label BBR, saying, we can't wait to introduce them to partners and audiences around the world. But this is also the dude that's bringing the get up to country music, so whatever. The guys released a single called World for Two. It was pretty harmless.
Meet me out where the stars turn blue.
It doesn't sound very different from like the boyfriend country of someone like Brett Young or Danning Shay. Their harmonies were nice. There was nothing that offensive about it, except maybe this super choreographed rollout that felt like something out of the Disney machine, not something necessarily out of this town filled with incredible musicians, so much talent, people grinding, trying to make it for decades. Then last year at the end of the year, I discovered this other band called On the Outside, which honestly kind of amuses me.
I gathered up the nerve to say, hey pretty girl, what's your name?
These guys were being advertised to me on Instagram, and they were calling themselves the first ever pop country boy band. And as far as I can tell, these guys are playing kind of the YouTube game of faking it till you make it. On their Facebook page, it says, since forming in December 2019, OTO has gathered a small army of fans affectionately known as Outsiders. So, Outsiders, if you're here watching this video, welcome. I'm not sure you're a real fan base, but welcome. These fans have helped create a culture of love and support for one another that would be the envy of any artist. The recent social media movement created by the Outsiders, known as hashtag #NoOutsiderStandsAlone, is a prime example of that support system. Just to verify, I went ahead and searched that hashtag on Twitter and found a total of 7 tweets from 4 different accounts, so it's definitely clear that this is a real movement. They've been featured in a variety of TikTok collaborations, garnering in excess of 30 million views, nearly 500,000 YouTube views, and the members have nearly 9 million followers across all social media platforms. Now, these guys look more like a boy band than Calaway. They're younger, they seem clout-driven and fashionable. They've got one guy that looks a little bit older, and I feel like is always the case in any group situation. He seems to be the one with a really good voice. But it's kind of these like Instagram influencer model types. Their songs Like Yeah feature some just beautiful filmmaking in the music videos. And then they've got a new single out called Forever. Which features a storyline of them walking through the woods and then walking through an abandoned Nashville and then all of them putting their locks together and then putting that on the bridge in Nashville. I know that's a thing that people do in Paris. I guess in this case it means that On the Outside will be together forever. They've They've got fancy jackets, they've got plaid pants, they've got weird hair, they've got tons of photo shoots, so, you know, they're basically the next Eric Church. There is something kind of homespun and charming about just the hustle of this, but it does kind of give me those vibes of like a dad manager, one of those creepy YouTubing dads that make his daughters and sons be in music videos that he wrote for them.
I just wanna live my life, call my friends and stay up all night. I just wanna have a good time.
When I had seen On the Outside and they were calling themselves the first pop country band, I was like, no, there was this band on this show called The X Factor a long time ago, and they were called Restless Road, and I swear they existed. And so I went to their social media, but it seemed like they were dormant. The reality is, you can't have a trend of two. You gotta have three things to make a trend. So I was like, oh well, I guess it's not officially a trend. I guess I can't make this video. And then yesterday happened.
I just signed these guys, Restless Road, and they're amazing, and I believe in their talent, and they're gonna be huge. And
Awesome. All right, well, we can't wait.
Let's
Take
do
it away, Kane.
Restless Road re-emerged from the ashes, and they came back in a big way with not just an announcement of a record deal and a cush opening spot on Kane Brown's tour and a performance on the Today Show, but a new single featuring Kane Brown which samples John Denver's Take Me Home Country Roads.
Take me home. Take me home. Take me home.
Yes, Restless Road is back after being assembled in 2013 by Simon Cowell on this show, The X Factor, as a country boy band and turning in some truly unremarkable performances that Simon Cowell lavished with praise in an attempt to convince the audience that they were unbelievable.
You brought me down, but I got up. You get ready, cause I've had enough.
You have a tremendous talent, great chemistry, but you worked your nuts off.
And despite what Simon Cowell said after one of their performances,
You gotta have two things. You gotta have talent, and you actually gotta have friendship. And I saw both things tonight.
it's hard to say how much friendship was still at play in the band since one of the members, Andrew, seems to have moved on, and now there is a new guy, Garrett, in his place. Now, through a little bit of Instagram stalking and research, I found that Restless Road at some point in the last year kind of reformed as a new trio. Lead singer Colton shaved off his man beard and went back to his designer stubble, and at some point they linked up with Kane Brown and are some of the first signees on Kane Brown's own label, and now they've put out their first single, and it uses the hook of John Denver's iconic song Take Me Home Country Roads. Instead of it being a simple song about longing for the place that you are from, thinking about the mountains in West Virginia, they've turned it into a rather bombastic pop ballad with a huge drop in the chorus. Now, if you look up the songwriting credits, this production was actually co-written by Love, who is a pop star that you probably know from his hit, I Like Me Better When I'm With You.
I like me better when I'm with you.
And so we are certainly not talking about some homespun, true message that these guys really wanted to deliver. This is a big pop production. I'm guessing at some point it had a chance on pop radio, but now, you know, as the genre lines blur, they're clearly moving it into the country realm. And it's not just the guys either. There's a girl group now signed to Big Machine called Avenue Beat that have made a number of videos that are trying so hard to be casual that it feels really performative. So what do we make of all this? What do we make of the rise of country boy bands? If you can't tell from my tone of voice, I'm not that thrilled about it. And before any of y'all say, Grady, you're always so negative about the mainstream, I'm not at all. And if you're saying that, you don't actually watch any of my videos, so just save it, okay? You can go look at the many positive things I've said about many mainstream stars. I don't think just because something is produced means it's bad. I mean, look at an act like Midland, who is as produced with potentially even a fabricated backstory as you could possibly be. They're awesome. I'm not saying any of these guys aren't talented. You go to Nashville, every single person you meet in that town is pretty freaking talented. And they hustle, they get after it, they put in the work, they try to be successful. And I'm not knocking any of these guys' hustle. I'm not saying any of them don't have the right to do it. I'm not saying there's not a big audience of people that would rather go to bachelorette parties in Nashville and dance the trashy songs like Bachelorettes on Broadway. Or go to a Kane Brown show, or hey, maybe even want a country boy band. That's their right, that's their prerogative, it's these guys' prerogative to make music for those crowds. I'm just saying, it bums me out. Boy bands fundamentally are about escapism. They're about creating a false bubble of charm and good looks and sweetness that is completely other to the real experience of human life. And country music, at its best, is about the reality of human life. It's just about real things and real people and real struggle. And the idea that country music, in a popular sense, keeps getting watered down more and more and more and more to nothing other than fashion, a general sound of twang, the loosest sound of steel layered into a hip-hop beat. It bums me out that we are losing the substance. If every time there was one of these, quote, sonic evolutions or a fresh perspective being brought, it actually was bringing a fresh perspective to lyrics, an evolution of the thoughtfulness in the songwriting, I really wouldn't care. The sound of the music is not as important to me as the substance of it. What does it make you feel? And this type of music is very synthetic. It waters down the stock of country music on the whole. It turns country into nothing more than an accessory. Just a different target audience to whom you can market this pop music, but now in boots. Every time I start to get really encouraged by Nashville and see people like John Party and Miranda Lambert and Luke Combs kind of fighting the good fight and making incredible, great country music inside the confines of the major label system, I start to feel really encouraged. Country music is in this healthy spot. But then sometimes stuff like this happens and I'm like, man, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm making that narrative up in my head. Now, I'm probably taking this too seriously, and the reality is that none of these bands have really had a hit yet. None of them are actually taking up that much room on the chart. King Calaway kinda almost got there last year with World for II, and I will say of all the music I listened to for this video, their new single, No Matter What, is definitely the catchiest and I would say best sounding song.
No matter what your dad thinks of me, no matter what you like on TV.
But none of these people have actually hit yet. And if they do hit, well, the good news is that we can listen to other stuff. We can listen to better groups. If you want someone that is bringing charisma and charm and fun to the group setting, go check out the Hot Country Nights. Maybe go listen to the Panhandlers, who are like a super group that's come out of Texas right now. If you want youthful, subversive energy, check out the Cosmic Country of Daniel Donato, or the Avril Lavigne angst country of Kalie Shorr, or even just the beautiful harmonies of Maddie Tae. There is tons of excellent young country out there. I think a lot of people are waking up to the fact that the stuff they love about country music just isn't really represented as much as they want it to be in the mainstream, and they start to look outside of it. They start to find acts like Tyler Childers and go, damn, I love how that sounds. They start to find bands like Flatland Cavalry and just say, oh my gosh, that is gorgeous. And they're just like, oh yeah, I have Spotify. I can go and listen to that instead. And so if what these boy bands ultimately do is get people to think about the stuff that they're consuming and start to question it and start to say, you know, I have more agency in this than just being spoon-fed what country music is by people who just really want to make money, then I guess that's ultimately a good thing. So there you go. There's the positive, nuanced spin on things. Now, all that said, I gotta say this caveat because it's a real caveat. I'm a country snob now, but my first album was a Backstreet Boys album. Yes, I got Backstreet Boys, and Now That's What I Call Music, Volume 1. Didn't even have a volume number. Those were my first two albums, and somehow I survived. Somehow my taste changed, and so the world's gonna keep spinning. This ultimately isn't that big of a deal. So those are my thoughts on the matter. Like this video if you liked it. If you've been here before and you like my stuff, just subscribe. If you keep coming back to my channel, I'm not going to tell anyone. Just click the subscribe button and the notification if you want. Comment down below your thoughts, and I will see you guys very soon.